What's going on? Welcome to another stream here on the AAL1240 channel. Welcome to our fight on the A319 Sharklet. I want to say welcome to Marvin. What's going on, brother? I said best you catch a ride. Well, hey, come on. Heading down to Raleigh, Europe. Just getting the aircraft set up, just got refueled, and it is now time for boarding. Short flight time today, 40 minutes from the hour and 18 minutes from gate to gate. So seems to be a pretty good flight, so hopefully we'll have some fun. While we're waiting for everything to boarding to start, we can now go up overhead and turn on, and we will start the APU. Wait 3 seconds and start. Get some lights going here since it's an evening flight. Get these fun lights going on, the integrated lights as well. High side, of course, and alright. So the box has been filled out, so we can just simply run through the flight plan really quick, and we see where our flight is going. Quick left up going northwest, then come down south, then towards the Radeon airport, come around and don't worry about this box. We are actually late because it's now 7 o'clock, but we will be pretty much on time. We push the time back. So we always gotta have some fun. Right? We push the time back to 23:20. Hopefully we can get out of here in the next few minutes. Perfect. So let's check out our pre-departure briefing. We are leaving out of Raleigh, out of DC, going to Raleigh Durham. Our departure today is going to take us from runway 19er, correction, from runway 1, and we're using the JW4. According to the initial climb, we are taking off runway 1, climb heading 007 to intercept course 331 to, I guess that's Rev G. Cross Rev G at about 1500 or at or below 220 knots, then on track 310 to Bevel, then on track 340 to RG3, then on track to Hockley, that's what that is, yep, and then on track to Hafner, cross Hafner at about 3000. So let's look at the depicted route real quick. And so we'll take off pretty much via the river visual because we have DC, this area that we are not supposed to fly over. So we take off, left turn, and then we follow the river up to Cockley, then left to Hafner, J-Dub, and we're taking the Melton intersection. Once we get to Melton, it is on the arrival into Raleigh via the Alden 4. So we take the Alden 4 to Lockdown, Bavco, Alden, then we take Villa, Blanker, Gabler, Heave, then we left into runway 4. Hey, what's going on, Aaron? Welcome, brother. Hope you're doing all right. And we take the Aylex runway 5. So we'll talk about that as we get further. All right, so for today's flight, we have our weather. Winds right now out of DC is 100 at 6, 10 session miles, speed clouds at 5,000, scattered at 7,000, broken at 9,000, temperature 27, dew point 17, altimeter 3010. Let's set the altimeter 3010, set and set 3 times. No significant weather in the air, so we are good to go. The arrival into Raleigh Winds of air about 5, 10 touches miles, scattered at 3,000, broken 8,000, broken 25,000, 26, 173001. Pretty smooth day for flight today, so we are good to go. Bags almost done loading. That's good. And passengers are boarding as we speak. So let's get the seatbelt sign coming on. For today's flight, we have 109 passengers. And we're taking 10.5 pounds, 10.5 thousand pounds of fuel. And based on our flight plan, we currently have as our max takeoff weight as 125.3, so we're below max takeoff weight. And our zero fuel is 115.2, 27.6. So let's go into our takeoff performance. Self runway 1 dry. Let's load the preliminary work the sheets and let's see if that's optional, see what it's going to give us. It might give us flaps 2 for departure today because of the runway and because of what we need for performance. So let's calculate that. And nope, choosing flaps 1, up 1.1, 125, 25, 29. So let's put that into our... So the Fenix allows for you to use your iPad, and that's what I'm going to be using right now. So you're going to see that I'm not necessarily using the mouse but you still see it. So we're going to all the what was it? 1, 2, 9. And our Bergs temp is 68. So that is set. And we are good to go. Initial approach, initial altitude or top altitude is 5,000, so that is also set based on the data. Top altitude is 5,000 based on the JW, and our frequency for departure is 191, which is the CTAF since we do not have any ATC. If you is available, we can now have the if bleed coming online. There is some traffic on the frequency. That is good. Love how these airports have this information. It's almost like the real thing where you're able to see. I don't know how many of you guys would actually pay attention when you're pushing off the gate. You actually see there's a screen. Well, there's a, I guess you can call it a screen, but it's a display rather that shows the airline, shows the flight number, shows the departure time. Not sure if it shows a runway like it's showing here, but some of this information is actually pretty accurate in terms of what it shows. So it's actually pretty cool to see it in the sim app. So we're loading 109 passengers. Let's see how many we have on board right now. Currently we are boarding. What am I looking at? I can't see here. All right, so we can see here in our, so we have 109 and we have 97 on board. So we're getting close to our departure time, so let's go ahead and release the exterior power. And we can do a radio check real quick on the frequency just to make sure that we have people hearing us. Radio traffic, radio check. Thank you so much. Everybody's on board now. Doors are closed. We'll receive the final load sheets. Check the final load sheet. Should be any changes. Nope. 115. 15 to 26. We can accept that. That means that our performance will be the same. Perfect. By the time when I said doors are closed, nobody is good, so we can close that. We can get ourselves prepared. Let's run through the force start checklist. Gear pins and covers are removed. Fuel quantity is 10.5. That is on board. Keep signs on errors, nav, and bar reference is 3011 is the last thing that I saw. Let's check. Cool. Our perfect is complete. The force start parking brake is set. Takeoff speed is 125, 129, 129, and thrust is 80. Like windows closing off beacon. We're gonna pause the music as we get ready for the power. Or at least bring it down to that work. And then let's make some announcements. One thing we did not do is we didn't do the taxi briefing. So we can do that really quickly. We're gonna push out the gate and we're gonna spot 3. We'll taxi via Juliet. Taxi via Juliet, cross runway 4. Push over runway 01 via Julia. So facing east on spot 5.
Release parking brakes, please.
So let's make that announcement now. Reagan traffic evening American 1240. Pushing start from Charlie 25. Reagan traffic. Close to close, everything is looking good, and we can release the parking brake and start the timer.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
6-1. It was making serious noise. I don't know what that was. Start sequence is 1 then 2, so let's start engine number 1.
Welcome to your American
Please set parking brakes. Unlocking gear.
Made possible by our dedicated team members, who all do it for one reason. That's why us. So let's go over some in-flight insurance. To buckle your seatbelt, insert the metal end into the buckle and pull the strap to tighten. To open, lift the top of the buckle. And remember, seatbelts.
Start engine number 2.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
listen to that from the outside.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Get that away from the app. Let us know that the gear pin has been removed. Once the business have waved, we'll be out of our way and we can get on our way. Engine 2 is now available. Our after start close. Flight control check. To the left, to the right, neutral, the other one, left, right, neutral, elevators up, down, I have to take off after start of checklist. Anti-ice not required. ECAM status is checked. Pitch trim 1.1. Rudder trim is neutral. Set. And the after start checklist is complete. Taxi checklist. Flight controls are checked. Flap setting is 1 plus F. Radar and predictive wind shear is auto. Engine mode selector is normal. ECAM status. Let's get back. It should say take off no blue. The only blue is gonna be the. Alright, good. So take off no blue. Cabin is already. Alright, so on our taxi lights and let's inform what we're going to do. Reagan traffic American 1240 is going to taxi runway 1 for departure via Juliet, via Kilo 1 Juliet cross runway 4 O'Shore runway 1 via Juliet. Reagan traffic. Brakes release. Brake check. Check 0. There left. There right. Take it right here. Juliet. So the A319 is the shortest of the baby buses. Well, no, not the shortest. The shortest is the 318, but in terms of commercial flight, not very many would have the 318. I think British Airways and Air France are the two that have 318. But the 319s, 320s, 321s, of course the Neos are the newest for the family. 319 is pretty short, as you'll see on the outside. Nice and short airplane. So it handles just a little bit differently, and you have to be careful because you can end up slamming the aircraft, which is something that I seem to do very well. So the more you fly it, the better you become at it. So we're taking it down to Raleigh this evening. Pretty short flight, 48 minutes airborne. And once we get airborne, we'll go up to flight number 270. Once again, for departure, it is the JW4. We will follow the river after departure. Left heading 331, direct to Rev G, and then we'll follow that going all the way over on the. It is actually on the navigation display, so we'll hand fly and follow the display. All right, coming up on runway 4, clear left and right, and let's turn on the strobes. Lights. And let's do the before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist. Takeoff runways runway 01. TCAS is on, packs 1 and 2 are on. Lineup checklist is complete. Line up on the runway. Reagan traffic, American 1240, line up runway 01, Reagan traffic. You can see that one right ahead of us here. Lights coming on, 99. Take our light come on, and we're ready to go. Let's go. American, Reagan traffic, American 1240. Takeoff runway 01 via the JW 40 departure. Timer, 50%. Table. Manflex 68 SRS runway out of thrust is blue. Press set. Try to keep that center line 100 knots. V1, rotate. Pause a bit of time. Gear up. Quick look outside. That's a nice picture. Alright. Left turn. Not want to be in violation at all. There's a river, so we'll follow that. Reagan traffic, American 1240 is cleared of runway 01 passing 1.2. Climb via the sit. Reagan traffic last call. aircraft. So we're trying to follow the marine lines here. We'll turn on autopilot once we get to 10,000 feet. Beautiful sunset. This is why we have two cars. Trying to do all these things at once is really challenging. 10,000 feet, 99 feet. Yeah, man. To 8 is what it is now, and there we have it. So wait, everyone. We climb to flight level 2. Yeah, Aaron, it sounds pretty good. The makers of this airplane would have done a fantastic job where the sounds are concerned. That down there is Washington Dulles Airport in the background here. Dulles.
From all of us at American Airlines, thank you for flying with us today. A special welcome to Advantage members, One World frequent flyers, and our partner airline guests. If you are not an Advantage member, you can sign up at AA.com to earn miles for flights booked through eligible channels and continue earning miles with our retail and travel partners. Our Advantage Aviator Red World Elite MasterCard is another great way to earn miles.
This is actually the runway that they use most often for departures. So you'll have landings on this runway, and then
the first checked bag free on
departing
domestic
off runway 3.
itineraries, and 25% savings on in-flight food and beverage purchases. You get all of these great benefits and more. Not an Aviator card member? Ask your flight attendant for an application, or you can apply in-flight today at myaviatorcard.com. Wi-Fi service is available on this flight. Enable airplane mode and connect to the AA in-flight signal. If you're not redirected, open a browser and enter aainflight.com. You can access AA.com free of charge to view flight connections and other travel information. If you need to power your device, AC power outlets are located at every seat. While you are seated, please keep your seatbelt fastened and visible to the crew when the seatbelt sign is on, as turbulence can happen unexpectedly. If you open an overhead compartment, use caution as carry-on items may have shifted during takeoff. Enjoy your flight.
We'll see what happens with 2024. 2024 is still kind of teething issues, but it's the same thing that happened when we got 2020. So 2024, once it gets to where it's supposed to be, I'm pretty sure that it will be effective. One of the things that I really want to start to fly is the 330 300s, because Delta uses that quite a bit. They have the 300 and the 200. I actually want to do some flights. Matter of fact, I would have done a flight from Italy to Atlanta on the 330 300. I actually want to start that. Let's see what's going on with that is concerned. For right now, they're still doing some stuff on the 2024. So we'll let them know. So hopefully by the end of the year, I actually bought some hardware. I bought a new M.2 hard drive, and also think that I'm gonna get so I'll buy the Microsoft 2024 later in the year, and the M.2 is specifically for it. So I'll have enough storage, because I know these things sometimes will take, especially when you start putting a bunch of add-ons to it. Those things can get really, really big, really, really quick. So we'll get even. What we're waiting for so badly is the 757. I have no idea when I speculate that it's going to come out in Q2 of 2026, based on some things that were said in the last update that they gave. That's just me speculating, but it's looking like Q2 of 2026, which will come out sooner, because I'm dying to do the 757 flight, but we shall see. Pretty short flight, so we are just about getting to our cruise altitude. We are now at flight number 250, 2,000 to go, and once we get up, we're going to let's look at our progress. And so what this does, if you aren't aware, when you put this in your progress, you put your to wherever you're going. It could be a waypoint, or it could be to the airport. What this actually does, it tells you that if you were to fly on a heading of 212, you will go directly to whatever the waypoint you put in here. So we're 164 miles from Radeon right now, and if we were to take a heading or a bearing of 212, we will fly directly there. So if for whatever reason we've lost some sort of navigation or something goes wrong, we'll definitely be able to still make it to Raleigh if we simply do something like this. So do that, and heading 212, and that will take us directly to Raleigh if we were to do that. But we're gonna go ahead and follow our flight plan, so that ATC may come and yell at us. Alright, let's see where we are. So we're 158, which means we're not very far. So we're gonna need to get some weather information. Let's look at the arrival. The weight of the aircraft is 123.4, so we'll put 123.1, and it's 5 left. Refresh the METAR. Current METAR is variable at 5, 10 saturated miles, fuel cost at 3,300, broken at 7,500, broken 25,000, temperature 25, 2.18, altimeter 3011. So we can wait a minute. Direct to Cassie. Do I have any mess with stuff? Direct to Cassie, good. And based on our runway, we have a runway length of landing distance available is 10,000. Landing distance required is 6,982. So we have more than enough runway, so we can do break 1, and we can do just for. We can either do idle no reverse, or we can do mass reverse. Doesn't really make a difference. So we'll do idle no reverse. So that will be easier on the engine. So let's look now. Company center is going to be 78 nautical miles, and the temperature is 25, wind is variable. So wind 020. Let's use this variable 020. QNH is 301. And we look rival. And with 5 left, the MDA is 5.8. So we have all of that set up here. This is what I was just doing a while ago. So we got the wind, we got the weather on the left side, and I really don't know why it is that we I have to check where I can change this, because transition altitude in the States is 180. It always has 180. And we can add 5 to the approach, so that's 131. And our approach is for the arrival. Identifier is India of Kilo. Little this is. We will put our range rings 054 and the radius. So if we were to look at that, added these ranges, so there's a 50-mile range ring here and a 8-mile range ring there. What would happen is by the time we get to Chowder, which is the initial approach fix here, we should be slowing down. It says 210, but we'll probably take it to a 180, and then by this line we should be fully configured. So we'll be at 180 here. These are just saying that it should be your max is 210. Sometimes when you have air traffic control online, they would tell you, hey, maintain a certain speed until a particular waypoint, just so they can keep the traffic flowing smoothly. So because there isn't anybody online right now, ensure that we are stable for the approach. By the time we get to Chowder, we will slow to 180 knots. Then we'll configure the aircraft that by the time we get to repass, it will be our final approach speed, which is 131. 54 miles before top of the set. Trotting along nicely. Only going 0.68. just passed our equal time point, so we are halfway there. "15 miles from Elton. Shortly after that, we begin our descent. In 2 nautical miles, we can begin the descent. Starting early in the Airbus actually allows for us to get a smoother, more gentler descent. So we're going to begin our descent now. 6,000 is the amount of altitude. So we'll begin our descent now. As you see, we're descending at 1,000 feet per minute, and the aircraft will generally keep that until it gets to another constraint. The first constraint is going to be 8,000, so it will keep that gentle for a continuous descent, just to make it comfortable for the passengers. In a sense too, it should help the engines, because you wouldn't have this constant spooling, and so the whole idea of that continuous descent makes it easier on the engine, the aircraft, and the passengers for that air pocket kind of. Alright, check out the landing. Landing runway 05 left. And based on the arrival, we're using up 1,900 feet. So we should be able to exit at Bravo 7. Take Bravo 7. Using Foxtrot all the way down to parking at Charlie 9. So we'll put down Foxtrot. Charlie 9. For the approach, if we should go miss, climb 1000 and climb the left turn 2200 heading to 0. The radio 356 to Durham intersection, which is from the VOR. We shall hold. That is our program to the FMC. In the event that we below 18,000, transition QNH is 3011, that is set. And we see the aircraft is playing catch up. So we are descending now with just about 3,000 feet per minute so that we can meet restrictions. We're going to probably get a warning saying drag. Need more drag. Try and get on 250 knots by the time we get to Alden. Sleep more time. Frequency here is 127.45. traffic, American 1240, descended to 13,000 for arrival. We are 8 miles from Villa. We'll continue via the AAL1240 arrival. We'll make that base for the Aylex runway 5 Durham traffic. Always important to make some announcements in our person be aware of what's going on. Did a flight earlier today with one of my friends. For some reason, the voice just was not working until we landed. However, we were able to still make some contact using the text. And there were 3 of us who landed, one right after the other. We kept our speeds up, we did what we had to do, and it was fine. So it's important that whenever you're flying online, intending to fly online, it's important that you learn how to fly online, learn the do's and don'ts. When you're online, you have to ensure that you make your announcements, you have to ensure that you're paying attention to if persons pop online, pop offline, especially at the gate, so that you aren't going to offend anyone. Just some tidbits. And this is something that's a little bit new for some people, especially for those who aren't accustomed to it. In some parts of the world, it doesn't exist. In others, like the US, the Caribbean, Mexico, there's something called CTAL. What that is, it is the frequency for the tower, and it declutters the unicom, which is what we use once we are outside of the airport. So once we get close to Raleigh, closer to Raleigh, so we're just outside of 50-mile ring. So once we get on the downwind, we can then switch to the tower advisory frequency, which is the common tower advisory frequency for the airport, once it is uncontrolled. So there are times when you're even online and somebody comes on and starts speaking, you're like, wait a second, I didn't realize that tower was on. Right, so once you're online using that frequency, more than likely, once the tower pops on, you may not even realize it, simply because you're already on the frequency. The only how you get a contact me is if the person is ground frequency. That way, you know, they're gonna have to tell you. Below 10,000 feet, landing that's coming on and wind that's coming on. That is Raleigh straight ahead of us. On the downwind, we will switch now to 27. You're in traffic, good evening, 40 on the downwind for runway 9. We'll proceed to descend to 6,000. We'll call left base, run the localizer 45. Maintain this heading.
Valley traffic, Jetson 1244, ready to taxi, runway 05 right via Foxtrot Echo Alpha. Ready traffic.
So sometimes as well, you would have ATC trying to have us come in a little bit quicker. So we'll descend on 3,000 feet. So let's descend down to 4,000. Make that turn in a little bit earlier. Matter of fact, set up to 3,000. Reduce speed to 200. Quicker, then brakes. We can begin making that turn to join base leg. See how Waesto is there. Check platform. Drone traffic, American 1240 left base for runway 05 left. We'll call assumption localizer runway 05. Rally traffic. So we will come in below the glide. And we'll reduce the speed to 180. And we will activate the glide slope. Arm the glide, the localizer. Localizer captured. Hook star. Approach. Speed check. It's 2. Pause. The miles out, the roll up, we have 1.05 left here. Outside. Alive.
Charlie traffic, jet 44 ready for takeoff runway 05 right. Ready to drop.
All traffic American 1240. Establish on the localized 11 miles, only 5 left, Charlie. Gear down. Approach checklist. As set, 2% on minimum dispatch. Set. Engine percentage is engine percentage is norm. Approach checklist complete. Lap 3. Check. Clear to land. On. Breaking traffic correction. Raleigh traffic, American 1240, 7 mile final, runway 5. Just had that departure right there. Full landing checklist. Become silence, take landing local. Traffic American 1240, 5 mile final, runway 5 left line. Let's see how this goes.
Ready traffic, jet blue 1244 is at 5,000, climbing 10,000, last call. See you!
So. 47 minutes. Nice. Exit here. I think we had said we go to Bravo 9. Take Bravo 7 and then taxi to 8 Foxtrot. We'll take that 1. Traffic, American 1240 is cleared of runway 05 left. Taxi via Foxtrot to Charlie 9. And we are underground. Let's call up GSX to Charlie 9. Gate is coming. I'm having so hard to see these things. Like this maybe it coming up here. I think GSX needs to seriously do that thing where in the real world you have the wing walkers edge, that way you can see exactly where. It's like when they walk out on the airplane, walk out with you for the airplane for the pushback. I think they should do that so that you can see where you're going. That actually helps. I'd rather put that in this. Get a good parking. All right. have, if you believe, is all people. And we have made it to Raleigh Durham. She's not gonna walk away. Let's just wait for M2 to reach 10%. And turn on the beacon. Will trigger the boarding. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are in Raleigh, Durham. As always, I am grateful for those of you who took the time out to come and visit this evening for our flight. If you haven't already done so, it would definitely help the channel out if you would do a like and subscribe. If you like the content, feel free to give a like, leave a comment. Let me know what I can do to probably make you feel a little bit better. But of course, thank you so much for taking the time out to join me this evening on this short flight to Raleigh Durham from Washington Reagan International Airport. And I do hope that you have a fantastic rest of the week and that you keep the blue side up. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.